You can now set up the Nikon Z9 as an expensive trail camera, capturing images or video whenever an object or subject enters the frame. Think this might be a gimmick? Something Nikon's dreamed up to get more attention, more sales for the Nikon Z9? Well, think again. At the end of this video, I think you might agree with me that this is something we'd like to see on Canon cameras such as the R3, the R5, the R6 Mark II, or even the Sony A7 R5 or the A7 IV. So stick around after this short break for all the details of Firmware 4.0 for the Nikon Z9. But first, please do me a favor. Follow me on Twitter, but most importantly, please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything and really does help this channel grow. And if you're already a subscriber, thanks so much for your support. Nikon released Firmware 4.0 just a couple of days ago, but because I've been traveling Canada's mountainous west coast, getting up close and personal with stunning wildlife, I've been limited to uploading videos over a cellular connection and not the fastest one. I haven't been able to release this video until now. Firmware 4.0 provides a new big enhancement, auto capture. It's the ability to capture any moving subject as it comes into the frame, whether it be an animal, a vehicle, or bird, anything you can set up in the autofocus system, further separating this camera, the Nikon Z9, away from the Nikon Z8. So at a contextual level, this firmware 4.0 allows you to set the Nikon Z9 down, leave it alone, and it's going to go ahead and capture images or video of your subject, of objects that you happen to be setting up in the camera. And it's quite versatile. The amount of things that you're able to configure with this firmware update for auto capture is pretty stunning, and that's where the power lies in this capability, not some sort of gimmick, kind of like what Canon did with pixel shift and the Canon EOS R5 in the recent firmware update. While still it's great to have pixel shift, it doesn't go nearly as far as other cameras like, well, the Sony A7 R5. But auto capture on the Nikon Z9, I certainly hope it's something that other manufacturers copy, like Sony and Canon. And that's the big thing. It will allow you to automatically capture not just still images, but also video. So when you're shooting something like a barn owl, when it comes into frame, or a person, or even a vehicle. And what's striking about this capability is the thought behind it, the level of control. You see, you can choose whatever type of subject you want. You can allow it to choose anything, or you can say, you know what, I want to focus on, well, large animals, or maybe small animals. I want to set the minimum and maximum distance that the object or the subject is away from the frame. I want to do birds, I want to do people. And that's pretty powerful. But what you can also do is be able to indicate what part of the frame the subject is coming into. So for example, I'm looking at a seagull right over here. If you know that your subject or object is going to be coming into the frame from the left or the right or from the top or the down, you can say, you know what, only focus on those objects that are coming in from the side or the top or the bottom. And that's pretty powerful, along with being able to say, well, what type of object it is, what size it is, how far away it is pretty impressive as well. And not only that, but you can limit the area of focus as well. So if you know that you're just going to be focusing on the center of the frame and that's where you're going to get most of the action, you can tell it to ignore everything on the outside, the periph, and that's important. But you can also choose given areas. You can select individual areas instead of just saying, no, ignore the periph or ignore the center. It gives you a complete level of control. And some of these settings give you a range of plus or minus 5. So for example, if we're talking the size of an object, you're given something from very small to the very large on a scale of 1 to 5. It's a pretty impressive feature. And once it has started recording something, you can tell it how long to record for, anywhere from just a few seconds all the way up to, well, 30 minutes, so an awful long period of time. And once it's finished recording for that duration, you can then tell it to, well, sit down, wait, relax, have a coffee or a cup of tea, or we're on the ocean here, so maybe some kelp juice or something. I know that kind of sounds a little bit disgusting to me as well, but the point is, once you've captured what you want, you can give it a cool-off period, so it gives your camera a chance to let the subject clear the screen and wait for some other duration of time before it starts recording. And that's what's really powerful about this new auto capture capability. And even though I can't enunciate my words all the time, I want to focus on there are a few limitations. First of all, let's just say if you're going to be using full frame Z-mount lenses, well, you're going to have all the capabilities available that I've talked about here. But if you're going to be using DX lenses, yeah, no, you're not going to have this capability. And if you're going to be shooting with f-mount lenses, and this is very important to understand, if you're shooting with full frame f-mount lenses, you're not going to have all capabilities available. I can't remember the ones exactly, but we're talking about some of the distance capabilities, some of the further advanced capabilities of this camera. But I think it's pretty impressive. You can allow it to just focus on everything that comes into the frame, everything that's moving, whether it be small or whether it be large, whether it be close or far away, whether it's a person, whether it's, I mean, like a security camera, you want to capture everything moving except for maybe something that's very, very small. Well, in that case, in that scenario, you can say, okay, ignore something that's very small, but let's say you're after bears, you're looking to capture grizzly bears, brown bears, or any sort of bear. You're on a trail like I encountered when I was in British Columbia in the mountains. I came across these brown bears right on my path, and just look at the nails on these things. So in this case here, what you'd want to do is say, okay, you know what, I want to focus on animals, and I want to focus on very large animals. And yes, I probably want to allow eye detection as well. It's a pretty impressive feature. And yes, the Nikon Z9 is an expensive camera to be using as a trail camera, but if you're looking for those once-in-a-lifetime shots and you want to capture high-resolution images of very elusive creatures, such as jaguars, cougars, or even bears, grizzly bears, then using the Nikon Z9 as a high-resolution camera for this purpose gives you a new scenarios to explore to increase your opportunities. But there is a few things you need to be concerned with, and one of those is battery life. You're only going to get a few hours, maybe up to 4, 5, 4.5 hours of battery life on the Nikon Z9, but depending on where you are, you could probably set up another power source. You could set up a solar panel. You can purchase these things. What is it? I tested one not too long ago, and it would basically give you all-day shooting in the sun and then give you so many hours into the night. So that will give you all-day shooting. So you could keep shooting endlessly. You just need to provide yourself with some sort of battery backup or power generation source to be able to do this. But it is a pretty impressive feature. Now what I want to do is talk to you about some of the other enhanced capabilities of this firmware update. The biggest one, of course, being auto capture. Exposure delay mode is back, and when it comes to shooting log footage, so for video shooters, we've got a few more log options, low 1 and low 2, and what this allows you to do is to be able to shoot log footage instead of being stuck, not being able to go past 800 on ISO, you can go up to 400 and 200. Now, depending on what scenario you're shooting, this will be great. This will allow you to, well, get more detail in the shadows. It's not going to work in every different scenario, but it's certainly very, very handy and something that's nice to have. High-speed zoom now has 5 settings instead of 3. And when it comes to slow motion, the really nice thing now is you can set the desired frame rate instead of just recording at 120 frames per second. So that's nice as well. Other capabilities, pre-release capture, that's been extended from 30 seconds, which I think is pretty impressive, and that works for most people, but all the way up to 300 seconds. And the ability to have new shutter sounds. There's shutter sounds, you've now got 5. We have new button customizations and new, well, not so much customizations, but the ability to add new capabilities to these customizations as well. And what else have I left out? Oh yeah, the true distance gauge. So when you're using manual focus and you're looking at the distance, it now gives that to you in meters or feet, depending on how you've got your camera set up. And of course, as I say with any firmware update, it's got various minor bug fixes and enhancements. So it's a terrific firmware update. And if you're really excited by this, I wouldn't go out and apply it right away. My recommendation, it's been out for a few days already, and I haven't seen anything about it bricking the camera or causing any problems. But again, whenever it comes to a firmware update, I highly recommend waiting at least a week or two and waiting to see if any issues pop up, because if you're using this camera as your professional money-making camera, or let's say you're like me, you're on a trip and you're in the mountains, the last thing you want to do is be up there on top of a mountain and all of a sudden something stops working. That's expensive, that's costly, and boy, is it frustrating. And you're not going to blame Nikon, you're going to blame yourself. So my recommendation is wait a week or two and then see if there's any issues. And of course, if there are, I'll certainly put it out on this video as well. So that's my recommendation with any firmware update. But what I want to do is talk to you a little bit about where I've been. So for the last week, I've been, as you can tell here, this is the Vancouver Bay. I think it's called English Bay. You can see the tankers here, or the ships waiting to offload their cargo or to receive cargo. And I've been here for the better part of a week. It's been an exciting time. I'm not going to go into the details of why I've been here, but let's just say that I brought the right gear for my shooting scenarios, but it wasn't really the best gear for, well, shooting for this channel. And as I am right now, as I'm speaking, I am on Jericho Beach with a camera sitting on some beach debris on a log with my laptop here for notes, and the sun's just changed, so maybe the exposure will be off a little bit, but it's just a very small cloud, so bear with me. And I brought my Tascam DR10L for good sound. However, simple things such as a micro SD to SD card reader wouldn't allow me to get the content off here, so the first few videos I put out, I couldn't take care of. When the Nikon Z9 video came, or the firmware update came out, I thought, wow, I want to cover this, but I couldn't because I had other shooting engagements. I had other meetings planned. And you see I was uploading these videos, including this video here, over cellular. That's right, cellular. And yeah, it wasn't LTE. I think at some points I was down to 0.7 megabytes per second. It literally took hours to upload these videos, and who knows how long this one's going to take. I'm doing my best to try to find a Starbucks or something where I can get better bandwidth, and the more I talk here, the worse things are going to get, but it's beautiful out here. I was able to get some stunning footage of all sorts of wildlife from when we were on a trail up Grouse Mountain. I discovered these grizzly bears, and just, not grizzly bears, sorry, brown bears. Take a look at them. Look how close we are to them here. Look at those nails. You wonder why such a cute, cuddly thing could cause so much damage to a person when they're attacked, but just look at those nails. And just imagine getting smacked by those. That's just an awful lot of power there. These things are incredible creatures, incredibly powerful. And I've really, and definitely need to be respected. But I've really enjoyed my time here. I even managed to bump into one of my subscribers, Brian. And we sat down at Jericho Beach. This is the thing about locals. Locals always know the best places to shoot. They always know the best places to sit and relax. And we sat over top of a beach on a patio, 2 floors up, overlooking English Bay here in Vancouver, and it's just absolutely stunning. And for those of you living in Vancouver, thank you so much for your hospitality. I love this place. I mean, your transit system too is incredible. We've been living downtown, not North Vancouver, Point Grey, Kitsilano area, and I got to tell you, the transit system is so much better than having a car like the 99 Express UBC bus. You know, I'm 10 minutes away from downtown, and I don't have to worry about parking a car. Your transit system is absolutely wonderful. I hope to be out here again soon. So for everybody who, when I was talking to my wife trying to say, hey, do we need to go here? Where's this? And people would just all of a sudden pop their head in like a photobomb and say, oh yeah, you want to go down this street, the stop's just there, or all sorts of things. Really incredible place here, and I really do appreciate everybody's hospitality. But I did promise to say to anybody who's thinking of moving to Vancouver, not to. You know, the more people that move out here, it pushes up the price of things, of real estate. So I've been told to not say anything good about Vancouver. But wow, the weather. And even when it did rain, you know, get up in the morning, it's 55 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius. It's just stunning. I just can't get over this. But I could go on. I want to wait till I get back to my studio, wait till I get back home. And probably by the time you're watching this, I've already landed. I'll talk more. I'll share with you some more video clips of my trip out here and what I discovered. And but that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to stay up to date on the latest camera news and rumors, again, I'm on location here, and I'm still covering the news 24/7. I'm dedicated to make sure you've got the latest news and rumors, although albeit some days a little bit late. So go ahead and subscribe and make sure you choose all notifications. And for all the minor news and rumors out there, then go ahead and follow me on my Twitter channel. You see, anything that's not quite big enough to have its own separate video, or really great pricing deals, such as $400 off, $300 off the Nikon Z7 Mark II and the Z6 Mark II, $500 off the Canon R3, the Panasonic S1H, the Canon EOS R5, $500 off with a battery grip, with a RF adapter at Adorama. They really got the best deals right now, although you do have to use these coupon codes. Some really incredible deals going on right now. And if you like the R5, go ahead and get it. I've been shooting with it for 3 years, and you know what? The R5 Mark II will be better, but you're not going to buy the R5 and go, oh, I should have got the R5 Mark II. It's still an awesome camera, still today. Shot over 1,100 videos with it. It's durable, it's terrific, and at around $300 when you take into you're getting an EF to RF adapter and the battery grip, what more can you ask for? I need to end this video now because I'm uploading in cellular, but thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers, bye-bye now.